Hello again and welcome back. So today I'm checking out the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Cobra bat from Super 7. I picked this guy up from Pop Culture. I paid around $100 for him. He was an exclusive to San Diego Comic-Con, but there were a few that hit the Australian market, so I was pretty pleased that I could get him. Don't really know what I'm getting myself into. I've had a few Super 7 figures before, but they were the older ones in the Mo2 line, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same sort of thing. So taking a look at the packaging, it has this really nice slipcover with the Cobra emblem all embossed, and it's got this slightly battered, like a steel can, all the way around, G.I. Joe embroidered, and then on that side there we get some markings, Bat 02, and then sliding that off, here he is. So this is, I guess, pretty much the bat which we're getting in the first wave of G.I. Joes from Super 7, but recolored. I think there are a few components which do differ, but we won't really know until that one comes along. No idea when that's coming. It's got pushed back and back and back. Hopefully we will get it sooner rather than later. So taking a look at the actual packaging itself, nice big window display here. And then on the back, there is a read up there, Battle Android Trooper, of course, the bat. You can pause that if you fancy reading it. And then down the bottom, it looks like there's some screens from the animated series. Super 7 obviously going for the animated look rather than the original vintage look. It also comes in this very nice shipper as well. Nothing really of note there, but the shippers are nice. So let's open him up and take a look. Okay, so here he is out of the packaging with all of his accessories. And being an Ultimate figure, he comes with a lot of accessories. But before we get started, I will just say he does also have this nice design in the back of the box, which is obviously a callback to the original vintage line. So nice to have that included. So starting off, he comes with two backpacks. Start off with the more recognizable backpack. So this is the bat's backpack for his additional arms, and you can see just in here those arms can get plugged in, and I'll do those in just a moment. It is quite straightforward and not really much to it at all, just a straightforward blue plastic, and then he has these pieces at the back which just tag into his shoulder pieces, one there and one there. He also comes with this additional backpack, more like a drum than a backpack really, but the same sort of design, just plugs straight into his back or his shoulders. But then inside it does have a hinged door, and inside he has these, they look like some sort of biological mines. 3 of those, and they just plug in to the drum. Yeah, not really sure what these are. Maybe someone in the comments can let me know. But again, quite straightforward, quite simplistic in its design, just a straightforward blue. But I don't mind it. After all, that is the look that Super 7 go for with their Ultimates line. And then moving on, he comes with an additional head sculpt. Now this is a nice touch. So you can see the visor there is completely cracked. And by comparison, they are identical with that one exception. There's also a dent on the top of his dome and at the side here. Okay, so Bat comes with his standard hands. He comes with his laser cutter, claw, and flamethrower. Bat also comes with 6 interchangeable hands in addition to the fisted hands on the figure. So he comes with a left and a right trigger finger. And they are actually quite different. You can see on the right hand there's some sculpting on the back, but not with the left. Is that the same with all of them? Certainly not the same with the fists. Let's have a look at these two. No. So not entirely sure what the difference is. Okay, right, got it. So these are the battle damaged hands. And these are the clean hands. And then he also comes with these pretty cool gesturing hands. There is no articulation. If you're not familiar with Super 7's Ultimate figures, the articulation is quite basic. There is some articulation, but compared to something like the Classifieds, it is quite basic. Moving on, he also comes with a assault rifle. This is totally warped, as you can see. This is a common issue with some of the Ultimate figures. I do remember some of my Motu Ultimates, the weapons were just wrecked from the bubble, and that's the same here. Sure, I can bend it back with a bit of heat, but ignoring that, it is quite straightforward. Just this chrome bronze look to it, nothing really of note. And likewise for his pistol. Cobra Bat also comes with this feature. So this is for plugging into the chest panel, or I believe it is. Maybe it's not, because that's not going to come off. Ah, here we are, just underneath. There's a little lever. Let's see if we can open that up. Okay, that took forever. So this feature, the glass panel, has this small lever. And I get, I'm not going to put it back on because it took me forever to take it off. And I get why they've put it like that, so that the belt covers it. But to be honest, just make it easier to open. That was quite tough. Anyway, so this plugs into his circuitry there. Like that. And I suppose if you change the head, you could go for a battle damage look. Now, I did think that there was also something like this for the headpiece, but perhaps that's the regular bat in the first wave that's yet to come out. Okay, so taking a close look at the actual figure and running over the articulation. Now, if you're familiar with the Ultimates in Super 7, then you know that they are quite simplistic. I'm pretty much only talking about the Motu figures here. I don't really have any other comparison, but I did have a few of those, and they are all based off the Filmation Motu figures, so this is also based off the G.I. Joe animated series. I don't know that there was ever a blue bat in that series. Could have been that this is just a bit of a cash grab for an exclusive, and I've got no issue with that. But we are getting the black and yellow bat in the first wave. So taking a closer look at the actual figure itself, it is nice, it's very nice. There is some sloppy paintwork though, unfortunately. The belt here bleeds out into the blue, and also the strap here, the blue bleeds into the brown, and you can't really distinguish the strap here for that silver holster. It looks just like they haven't really covered the blue. I imagine that the blue was the matte, the base color, and then they've just gone over with the silver detailing, but they haven't done a very good job there. But everywhere else does look pretty good. There is some slight issue here on the boot as well. Probably can't get it on the camera, but you can actually see, it looks like I've done that myself. It looks like I've just patched it up. There's like a splodge mark there where they've repainted it. So this is a bit of a common issue with some of the Super 7 figures I've had in the past. They are great figures, but I find that the rendered pictures always look much better. Now, you could say that about any line, but I think it's particularly of note with Super 7. Those rendered pictures always look the bollocks, and then when you actually get the figure, it's a little bit underwhelming, but hopefully we won't get too many issues going forward, because I am quite excited about the G.I. Joe line. Looking at the helmet, it is quite nice. Again, some sloppy paint applications here where the silver has bled into the blue, so a bit unfortunate there. Also with the medallion, it has bled into the blue here as well, but overall it is quite nice. Let's quickly take a look at the articulation. First thing that I will say is this figure is a little bit loose. I'm not entirely sure why it is this loose. And also this holster prevents the leg from going up. It just pushes it back down. So that's a massive disappointment. I'm not going to be able to get him in any poses. You're not really going to have any crazy poses with these figures. The articulation is limited, but it would have been nice to have some basic poses, and I can't with that, so that's unfortunate. If you have this figure, let me know if that's a common issue. There is a boot cut here, and there is some rocker. There's no left or right, it is just forwards and backwards. The leg goes up to about there, and to the side about there, and back you can't really get anything because of his booty. Single jointed knee. There is some rotation at the waist, quite generous rotation, no ab crunch whatsoever. And then at the shoulder, it's just on a straightforward ball joint, so you can go all the way around, and then he does have bicep swivel as well. Single jointed elbow. And then there is a cut here because of the interchangeable hands, but also there is some slight articulation on the hinge for the hand at the wrist. And then the head gets all the way around, down to about there, and then up to about there. So the articulation, while it's not great, it's not bad. It's a shame that it is so loose. Okay, let's do a quick size comparison. Here is the classified bat. So you can see these do not scale with the classifieds. There you are. Being Super 7 figures, they do come in at around the 7-inch mark, obviously. Okay, let's do a quick loadout. Okay, there we are. Okay, so my final thoughts on the SDCC exclusive. Now, this is the first taste that I'm getting from the Ultimate line from Super 7. And although it is nice, I feel that maybe it's a little bit unfinished. Now, the first wave that we're getting, which features Cobra Commander, Duke, Bat and Snake Eyes, that has been pushed back a few times. So perhaps they took what they had with maybe a prototype Bat, recolored him, added a few extra accessories and pushed this out as an exclusive. Now I'm sure I'm wrong about that, but the reason I say it is because this figure, as nice as it is, it does feel a little bit unfinished. The paint applications do leave something to be desired, and particularly the backpack, it could just be my figure, but it feels really poorly designed. It's really creaky when you get it into the shoulders, it doesn't really stay, and also some of the hands are articulated and others are not, so there's a lack of consistency there. So I'm not really sure what to say about that. Hopefully, if this is just an early taste and there are going to be improvements along the line, then I'm really excited. But if that's not the case, and this is the standard we're going to get for the others, then I think we're going to have some issues. But until they get released, we'll have to wait and see. Well, that about wraps up this review. I certainly hope that you've enjoyed it. And if you like this content, then please give it a like and do consider subscribing. And until next time, take care.